None of us are born knowing how to be good with money. And growing up, unless you had really enlightened parents who taught you financial literacy while you were growing up, you've probably had your share of money mistakes in your life.
More often than not, younger people make financial mistakes that can end up costing them thousands of dollars. So we would suggest paying close attention, maybe even take some notes, because avoiding the mistakes we have made will be quite beneficial for you.
Before we start, we want to thank you so much for watching this and all of our other videos. So whether it's your first time or you've been here with the InvestaBros for a while, we want to thank you for watching our content and for sharing it with your friends. Now, to be sure that more and more people find our content, please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
This video isn't just one of those copy-pasta videos about saving more for retirement, wishing to spend less on our credit cards, or not getting into student loans. I myself was on a scholarship, so I didn't pay for my university studies. We will share with you some of our personal financial mistakes that have taught us so much about life and money management in general.
According to this article, 85% of Americans have admitted to making money mistakes in their life. Nearly all of them cite similar reasons like consumer debt, credit card debt, going on too many expensive vacations, or eating out too often.
So let's get into this. The first mistake that we're going to mention is spending large amounts of money on relationships. You may not like it, but it's true. Let's be honest. You're a teenager or in your early 20s, you like a girl and you want her to like you back. What is the easiest way to impress her? Or at least what do you think is the easiest way? Maybe buying her expensive things might do the trick. If you're going to try spending money to impress someone, especially if you're on a lower income and you're trying to take them on expensive dates, weekend trips, and buy them jewelry, well, honestly, that is not sustainable in the long run. Not to mention that you're kind of creating a false image of yourself. So then what would happen if you end up running out of money and you're kind of making them expect that from you all the time? They'll realize that the attention was simply to impress them, and things will end up badly. Plus, do you really want someone that is with you only for your money?
There's like 1,000 other things that are more important than spending money on other people. So you want to think about that going forward in the future, because it can really kill your wallet when you try to look really cool and rich to impress someone else. The next one is buying a new car when you actually don't need it. Cars keep people poor, it's that simple. The average cost of owning and operating a vehicle, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is about $9,000 per year. When your average 20-something buys a car, he thinks only about the purchasing price. He forgets to take into consideration the operation costs, gas, repairs, taxes. All of these make a deep hole in your budget. When you don't take that into consideration, well, you might just end up selling your car at a loss. Because if you want to sell back your car, even the next day, it will have already lost a lot of value. My suggestion would be buying a car that is a few years old, or maybe fresh off a lease. That way, you benefit from a relatively new car and it will be more bang for your buck. Before purchasing a car, consider how often would you actually use it. If it's just for the weekends, then it's really not worth it. And I would consider even not having a car. Would you use it for commuting to work daily? If you live in a big city, before buying a car, take under consideration the use of public transportation. Most often than not, using the subway is faster than getting stuck in your car at rush hour.
In conclusion, if you're in your 20s, buying a brand new car is not a good idea, especially if you have a lower income, since it will make a huge dent in your budget. Remember, cars are depreciating assets. They're losing value every year, so you'll be losing a lot of money if and when you decide to sell your car. Another mistake I made in my early 20s was to lend money to a friend. And I'm not just talking about spotting your friend for gas because they forgot their wallet. I'm talking about much bigger numbers, at least considering my income at the time. When I was about 23, I lent some money to someone who I thought was my friend for more than 10 years. Now, people have mixed opinions about lending money to friends and family. But from my personal experience, it's a risky business, because that friend ended up never paying me back, which broke my trust and ruined our friendship, at least for a while. Now he's a dentist and he works on my teeth for free. I try not to think about what that money could have turned into if it paid me back on time, and if I'd been able to invest it. But the truth is that at the time I had no idea about how to properly manage my money, so most likely I would have spent it all on useless stuff.
I truly believe that if you lend money to friends and family, you should either think of it as a gift that you might never get back, or draft up an actual legal formal agreement, like a real business transaction. Wanting to help out friends is honorable, but you also have to be smart with your money and ensure that you will see it back. Massive money mistake number 4 is not knowing anything about personal finance when I got my first job. Now, I'm talking about my first real job, the one I started during my college years, when I had a really good salary with lots of zeros. Well, it's true that since then, Romania has cut some of the zeros from its currency, because it was strange that everyone here received millions in salaries. But anyway, when I got my first salary, I had literally never seen that much money at once. At least not money that was my own and that I could spend as I wished. And it took less than a week for all that money to just disappear, like evaporate on a whole bunch of nonsense. Parties in the dorm, treating friends in the local pubs. You get the picture, right? If I had a little more financial literacy back then, I might have put that money towards my financial goals, like a down payment on a house or investing them. So many other better things I could have done with that money. In hindsight, having lots of money but lacking financial education is a really bad combination.
According to the National Endowment for Financial Education, about 70% of people who win the lottery or receive some sort of large windfall end up going bankrupt within a few years. So whether you have a big bonus coming up at your job or an inheritance, make sure you take some time to learn about personal finance and create a plan for that money. Otherwise, you'll end up right back where you started. I talked in a previous video about getting into debt due to some mistakes I made when I started my first business. At first, I tried paying only the minimum monthly requirement, trying to keep the repayments low, so that I could maintain the monthly budget I had planned. Unfortunately, months later, when I checked the balance of the credit, I realized that even though I was repaying the loan, at least in my mind, I was actually paying mostly the interest and the principal remained more or less the same. So basically, I was just treading water.
My name is Giovanni Giorgio, but everybody calls me Giorgio.
Thankfully, I came to my senses. I got really serious about getting out of debt by cutting spending and redesigning my monthly budget so that I could pay as much as possible towards closing the loan, which I did in the next few years. Looking back, my mistake was thinking that I could kick the problem down the road just by paying mostly the interest and just kind of sticking my head in the sand, hoping that the situation would get better later.
The moral of the story: if you undertook a loan, focus on paying more than just the interest each month. Switch over to a more affordable repayment plan only if you need to. But remember to always pay something towards the principal. Deal with your financial mistakes head on. Don't just kick the can down the road. Lastly, a mistake that we both have made was not investing from an early age. One of the biggest advantages that you have in your 20s is the power of time.
Exactly like Elon Musk said, time is the ultimate currency.
See, not only can you withstand short-term market fluctuations in price, but you have the advantage of compounding interest working for you. This is because the money that you invest gives you back interest. And when you reinvest that interest, it gives you even more interest, which just gives you even more interest, which
gives you even more interest. I get it. Move on now.
And then pretty soon you'll be a billionaire.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Now consider this. If you invest $100 every single month, starting from the age of 20, with a 10% yearly return, by the time you're 65, your total investments of $54,000 will grow into a portfolio worth a bit over $1 million.
Instead, if you just thought, you know what, I'm gonna spend that extra $100 a month on big old cup of Joe's at Starbucks, and I'm gonna start investing when I'm 25. I'm young, I can do this anytime. I got the rest of my life to invest.
So, assuming you start investing that $100 a month at the age of 25 instead of 20, by the time you're 65, you're only going to have $632,000 from your investments of a $48,000.
That is a $416,000 difference by just waiting an extra 5 years. That means that the $6,000 that you invest in between the ages of 20 and 25 has increased by 7,000%.
That is a gargantuan amount. And this is why the money you save and invest in your 20s is arguably the most important money you're ever going to have in your life. You basically get 40 years for your investments to grow into something massive, simply because you have the advantage of time working on your side.
Every year that goes by right now without investing is another year where you're not going to see some insane growth 30 or 40 years down the road. Your money may not be worth much right now, but trust me, when you're ready to retire and travel the world in your spaceship,
And I'll tell you what, you go sell these and buy yourself a nice spaceship.
you'll be thanking yourself for saving and investing in your 20s.
As always, please show your support by clicking that like button and sharing the video with your friends.
Only with your help can we keep educating new investors just like you.